What is up, guys? Welcome to Truth and Transparency.
And please be patient. I understand that everybody wishes that this was solved already, but these things take time. It takes time to work through. You heard the stats of all the tips and everything, the interviews and everything that's been done. This takes time for our investigators to work through. So please be patient as we work through this investigation. We owe this to these young kids, to these young adults. We owe it to them, and we are absolutely dedicated.
On December 27, 2022, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from the Kohberger family residence located in Albright, Pennsylvania. That evidence was sent to the Idaho State Lab for testing. On December 28, 2022, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as being excluded as the biological father of suspect profile. At least 99.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. Based on the above information, I'm requesting an arrest warrant be issued for Bryan C. Kohberger.
Patient. I understand that everybody wishes that this was solved already, but these things take time. It takes time to work through. You heard the stats of all the tips and everything.
Again, what is up to the transparency? How we doing? Sorry for the delay. A lot of things got switched up and around today, so I guess that's just life. Again, sorry for the delay. What is up to the mods in chat, all the members, subscribers? Thank you for being present. I'm going to take a look at something else too really quick.
Welcome to Truth and Transparency. This is a developing story out of Moscow, Idaho. Was Bryan Kohberger a police intern at the time that he was arrested? Tuesday, April 12th. This is an email exchange between Chief of Police, Pullman Police Department, Gary Jenkins, and allegedly Bryan Kohberger. Moscow, Idaho. 4 students brutally murdered. Was Bryan Kohberger an intern with WSU Police Department, Pullman Police? Again, Tuesday, April 12th, 2022, an email exchange between allegedly Bryan Kohberger and Chief Jenkins. Allegedly, Bryan Kohberger was in Pullman, Washington on Tuesday, April 12, 2022, to visit with the police chief. The last day of classes at DeSales University for the winter session was Friday, April 1st, 2022.
Okay, so basically on Dateline, they are saying that Bryan did online learning once COVID hit. And
in 2020. So, and he could have taken all these classes, continued to take them online. So this brings us to Pennsylvania. And it can all be put to rest like it was. I mean, the PA cops came out, when was it? Back in January, and said that Bryan had nothing, there was no, they weren't looking at Bryan for any missing persons investigations at that time. This was after his arrest. Now, fast forward to today. Well, the past couple days, you have mainstream media. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. They are being reckless as all get out. I don't know who started the rumor that that the Kohbergers were being, that this had everything to do with Dana Smithers and Bryan. Well, today we see some transparency coming from the police department saying, and I quote, I'm going to give you the quote here. God, I got so many fucking messages. There it is. And I quote, Stroud Area Regional Police Department press release. Police Department is aware of many current reports and news articles in which various media outlets have reported connections between SARPD's Dana Smithers missing persons investigation and Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger. The SARPD has no evidence, in all caps, no evidence that Dana Smithers' disappearance is in any way tied to Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger. Okay. The judge just basically reamed and said, the AP press, you guys need to tone it down. You guys need to calm down. What are they doing? Going like ham the last 3 days. That was on Monday. Today is Thursday. And you have mainstream media literally losing their dicks. I don't know what they're doing. It's crazy. But where did this all come from? Of this whole grand jury, Pennsylvania, the Kohbergers, has to do with Dana. PA said it back in January that they hadn't linked Bryan to any missing persons, unsolved homicides, and now they have to come out and put a stamp on it, and they release it in a press release. Now, we've all seen press releases before. Do I think that they are being transparent and that they are telling the truth? I do, which I give them props for that. But I mean, I don't understand. They have Bryan doing all types of stuff, like just going all over in his little white Hyundai Elantra, driving all over, going to, allegedly with this stuff with Dana, and then stuff in panties, driving across the country to go there in March. When they report that he did a Zoom meeting, that he met online, then you're going to say on Dateline, you're going to show the panties body cam footage. Of all the body cam footage that we have, you go with the panties, which has nothing to even do with the victims. But here you have all this body cam that was provided that actually has something to do with the victims, and it's at their house. But you go with an incident where Bryan's not even remotely in the state, and that's what's put out on Dateline. And see to, someone that doesn't follow this case, if you just glance down and you listen to mainstream media, you would think that this dude is just, the devil. And he may be, but not because of what they're saying is true. This is just crazy. But God forbid we have a clickbait title. I just got to say that. God forbid someone's like, oh man, you have a clickbait title. Wait, what's clickbait? This is the show, y'all. I don't need to clickbait nothing.
Jeez. Clickbait. Oh, it's okay. You guys just go out there and spread them rumors as fact. A special shout out to Maddie's family, Maddie Mayday. All these days that come up over the course of time, significant in one way or another. You got 4 victims, so you got like 4 birthdays. You got a lot of special days to a lot of the families and to the victims, and this is one of those days. So keep extra thoughts and prayers for Maddie's family. So good. We got the Pennsylvania stuff out of the way. Pennsylvania, Bryan, no connect with Dana. No evidence, the word evidence. I'm curious. They have not released it. I don't know if it's not determined. I don't know if they couldn't determine it. You know, the cause and manner of death for Dana, that has not been released. So I don't know. Let's talk about Emma and Dee really quick. Emma and Dee. Emma and Dee are, let's see. Well, Emma's walking out of prison or jail. So she'll be free 7 p.m. according to everything that I have, West Coast time. Now the weird thing is that some people are going to go out there and say, "Oh, it's because she rolled" or something like that. So she's being released. All charges dropped. D, all charges dropped from Lewis County, but King County picked up his charges and are charging him with all the same charges. So again, Emma, all charges dropped. And then D, all charges dropped for out of Lewis County, but then King County picked up all of his case. So looking at a couple things with that. PA grand jury. Looking into obtaining some transcripts, seeing how much the grand jury Pennsylvania transcripts would cost. You have to motion to the courts to do that, and that's being done. Let's see what else. I put out a list because I think it's important. Wanted to cover it. Where was this? Okay. See. Say that again, Lana. What? Yes, all charges. Emma's charges dropped. All right, so I'm going to read a couple things to you. I want to hear your opinion. Okay, so I took the PCA and I narrowed it down to 10. 10 of this is in a nutshell, I call it. What were the strongest pieces of evidence that awarded the Moscow Police Department with an arrest warrant for Bryan? Okay. So number 1 was the touch DNA from the sheath. That was the last piece of evidence that they got. Number 2, I could probably share this. Let me just share this. Oops, there it is. Okay. It's as big as that's going to get. All right. Oh. All right, so this is what I did. I said, touch DNA from the sheath. That was the last piece of evidence that they got. The phone not being on a network between 2:47 a.m. and 2:48 a.m. Similar white Elantras seen in the area passing by 1122 King Road house between 3:28 a.m. or 3:29 a.m. and 4:17 a.m. Bryan owns a white Elantra. Your eyewitness says that she saw bushy brows. The eyewitness said that he was tall and thin. Bryan is a criminology student. Number 7, Bryan's phone pinged 12 times on the same tower as the 1122 King Road house between August and the killings. Number 8, Bryan was in his car alone on both stops when he was pulled over in August and October of 2022. The front plates are not needed on cars in Pennsylvania. That's why no front plates on the Elantra car. Number 10, Bryan was pulled over on August 21st, 2022 around midnight, right after his phone was pinging from the same towers as the 1122 King Road house, uses for services, and that's where they got that phone number. Okay, now, please explain to me what I am missing when you break it down like this from the PCA. That, oh boy, oh God, I got my notification. Holy balls. Based on Washington Vine message, Demetrius Robinson was released on 5/25, oopsies, 2023 own recognizances. So Demetrius just walked out of jail. Awesome. So let's see. I'm going to look at your guys's answers over here. Oh boy. Okay. So what are we missing there that was in the PCA as to why they arrested Bryan Kohberger? It was backed into a parking spot, no front plate. I'm just saying, like, when you actually break down the PCA, those are the main points of the PCA. So that's what he got arrested for the murders. With guys, though, but think about this. With that, the touch DNA not able to be, gotten until the last possible, minutes and seconds of the what day did they say? Like the 28th, allegedly. So that's what got him arrested. Tell me, I really want to hear Jen on my channel right now to say, hey, what am I missing that he was arrested for? Like, what else was in the PCA that I'm missing? Because when you just talk about nuts and bolts, like, what are you missing? I mean, that's what he's arrested from. It's suspicious that I guess I want to add on there that his phone was on a tower at 2:42 a.m., then shut off at 2:47 a.m., and at 2:45 a.m., it was on a different tower. So if it was moving, his vehicle. Okay, now you're in a grand jury. And what do you think they added to get him indicted? What was everybody saying that once we get to the preliminary hearing, they're going to release this? What are those things? Curious to see your thoughts. Damn. So they. Wow. Yeah, so if you guys just joined us, Demetrius and Emma Bailey. Well, Emma Bailey's charges, all of her charges were dropped. And so she'll be walking out of jail. And Demetrius just walked out of jail. As let's see, 8 minutes ago. DNA for sure, right? Yeah. I mean, when you break it down like this, I just think that you're like, wait a second, why are we zoning in on this guy? When you break it down like that. Yeah, that's what I was, something in the car. And then I want to go back to the saying, which was when they were looking for the white Elantra, and they were talking about, we went to talk to the person or persons that would have been in that vehicle that night. I thought it was interesting that they were saying person or persons, because they're trying to get tricky with that. And people said, well, it's to throw Bryan off that it's not him. Well, that would mean that you had to be on to Bryan though. And so people that were saying that Bryan didn't come along until later, I question that with Fry saying that you're looking for the persons or person. The other thing, guys, is that you just really have to look at this wording. This is what you'd be told, but now how you would obviously want to finesse it if you're the prosecution, you got to sell this. But this is really what it is. This is the reality of it. Touch DNA from the sheath belongs. It came back that it's his, but they're not going to use how they got to that point. His phone not being on a network between 2:47 a.m. and 4:46 a.m. You know, fuck where it's at or where he's at, just that it wasn't on. Similar white Elantra seen in the area passing by 1122 King Road House between 3:29 a.m. and 4:17 a.m. 4:20 a.m. actually. Eyewitness bushy eyebrows. Eyewitness tall, thin, but the eyewitness didn't call 911. Bryan is a criminology student. Bryan's phone pinged 12 times prior to the murders. Bryan was in his car alone on both stops when he was pulled over in August and in October. And they were trying to sell it on like nobody else would have been driving his car. And it was only him in the car. Front plates are not needed on cars in PA. And that's why they're not able to see a license plate number or anything, because Bryan was pulled over on August 21st, and that's when he gave his cell phone number. And we typed his cell phone number into to compare it to the historic, like to the data from 3 to 5. But guess what? That came up negative. Like he wasn't on, his number was not on the network, not hitting on a tower over there. And then we see the white Elantra in or on WSG's campus at 2:47 on camera. And then a car coming back in the same area around like 5:30 a.m. that looks similar to the car that was there at 2:47 a.m. And now say to yourself, work backwards. How in the world did you get here? How did you get here? So but this is all you have. So like, I just don't understand when people say that there's all this evidence. I'm like, what evidence? They may have it, but we don't know about it. They may have all this evidence, but we don't have it. So when you say that this is like, you have your profile. That's what you have as an FBI profiler, and I'll give you that. You have a profile. But this is what they have. And anyone that tells you different is flat out lying. Lying. Like, they may have all this other stuff, but this is what we know. This is what we know. Meaning this is what people that would have been, like, this is what the grand jury would have been told. But then again, more things because, they didn't put everything in a PCA. But that's why I kept saying, you're going to have to bring it. Because this is what they have. And so I don't get where everybody is coming and saying that there's just all this overwhelming evidence. Well, where is this overwhelming evidence? Because you must know something that none of us know. And that would be a straight violation of the gag order. But now I believe that we're going to start seeing hella motions by Anne. Anne is about to go ham. She's going to start motioning, I believe, like crazy. As she should. But I'll give you your profile. I will give you your profile. There is nothing to connect him to any of the victims. I want to see Anne go ham. You guys get that, right? Like, there is nothing connecting him to the victims yet. And so it's like, I'm just sick and tired of hearing like, oh my God, Atlanta, they just had like, that's why I was so looking forward to having Scott on today, because you were about to like do a huge debate and like this overwhelming evidence. Well, tell me, what's the overwhelming evidence? And if you say a redhead on TikTok, I'm gonna like laugh. The redhead on TikTok is not overwhelming. I don't even think they ever went on a date. I call bullshit. So his motive or his MO is to find random people. Okay, I will give you that. I will give whatever the MO is of Bryan Kohberger, according to police. But and now you tell, like, don't you think would have been written in the PCA, because they did it with the dog? They talked about Noonan's body cam, and that was his body cam that saw the dog when they got there, and that's where the dog was. Okay. So don't you think they would have talked about the sheath in someone's body cam? That sheath doesn't mention anything. If I'm Anne, they have to have already done this. I'm going through every body cam just looking for the sheath. Through the body cams. If I can't find that body cam on any, or if I can't find that sheath on any body cam, but you would think like they mention the body cams when they talk about the dog. So why wouldn't they mention the body cams when they're talking about the sheath? Stalkers usually want to isolate their target and take them out alone, not usually in a house full of people. Yes, I agree. And I was listening to Daniel talk about how like with the whole Dana, but that's going to be thrown out the water. Let me ask you guys a question. When Bryan said, I look forward to exonerating myself, okay? Think about this. Think about when you say to yourself, how am I supposed to exonerate myself if I'm being set up? How do you do that? Okay. Right? Remember in the beginning, it was all hush hush before there was ever a gag order in place to talk about. It made it seem like there was imminent danger, first of all. Imminent danger if stuff was not sealed. And it was like, what did Bryan have in his apartment? Like, there's a big risk of imminent danger. Who's in imminent danger? That the police would have a hard time policing. They would have a hard time keeping the public under control. Well, why? If Bryan went there to buy drugs and walked in on a scene, hypothetically speaking, and ran out of there, and got the fuck out of there, like, holy fucking shit, what the fuck? What do you like? What do? You're gonna tell the courts, you're gonna tell people, like, because you were never questioned, right? Until after you were arrested. Well, listen, I went there like because of what I was going to store drugs, or why would Bryan ever even go there? Did he ever do that before? Well, you have him peeing there 12 different times. That's what you guys are telling the world, and you guys are saying it and wrong. He wasn't peeing at that house. He was peeing off a cell tower. Like, what the fuck? You guys can be all gung ho that this is Bryan, but at least say it the correct way about what's up. He's peeing off of a cell tower. He's not peeing at their house. And Ann Taylor turns to you and she's like, well, how is your DNA on the sheath? I have no idea. Like, you would have to tell Ann everything. And if you didn't, then you're a moron. Right? Because the only way that you can defend somebody is if you tell them. I can't explain how my DNA is on there. I have no idea. Or maybe there is a way to explain it. But, some ways are like but you have to talk about your best defense, because someone's not going to believe it. Is a jury going to believe certain things? Shit, this jury, the whole USA wants to hang. They want to shoot this guy multiple times by multiple people. Fire squad him. What's that mic dropping? It's so insane to think that these people actually have real conversations about their guilt to defense lawyers. Who knows? I don't know. Do you think maybe he's just telling everybody, even his lawyer, that, is he telling them everything? People think that Bryan is possibly a confidential informant. People think that Bryan could possibly have been, what was his position ever with like WSU and the police department, and why did all of a sudden that go hush hush, and why could they never talk about that? No, Bryan never worked at the police department. No, Bryan never did this. No, Bryan never did that. That was all before the gag order. I just look at this list, and this is the list from the PCA. And I would just think that as a police officer, you would want way more. I know if I was a police officer, I would want way more, because I want to do my job, right? And I know there's a lot of good police officers out there. So why not just get the search warrants for his apartment based off of this, and his, and you just go serve a search warrant at his apartment. You get there and you realize, oh, wait, he's not here. Okay, well, where does his family live? Okay. Call them up over there. Okay, here, can we, search his car there? Like, why not just get the search warrant for his person, his car, his apartment, and let them come back. See if he'll give you his DNA on his own. Just wild. God, I'm getting blown up right now. So I guess what would have been the downfall to that? And I'd love to hear from a police officer, well, hey, if you can just arrest them, just arrest them. I mean, I don't know. Do you get the feeling that people were going different ways with this investigation? You had some people going left, you had some people going right, and you had some people going straight. and there's a group of people behind that know what's up. And maybe that could just be because of the, different agencies. You got the FBI that handles things one way, and you got Idaho State Police, and then you got the Moscow Police Department. But I feel like if you think about this, you got an investigation that's leading you left, an investigation that's leading you right, an investigation that's going straight, and then all of a sudden, poof, we have this arrest of this person. And it's like, well, who the fuck is this? And how did you get here? And how did you, And so mainstream media is calling this guy a monster, and that he's BTK and he's this and he's that. Well, how about this? You have Moscow Police Department telling the whole community as well as the world that everybody's safe, man. And this is a targeted attack and everybody's safe. You think that everybody was safe with Bryan out there? Like, come on. You guys, that's wild. I wonder how the Steptoe apartment tenants felt about their safety when they found out that they were living right next door to Bryan. Like, what they're calling Bryan is a serial killer in the making, or possibly is already killed. But nobody else, hey, this is an isolated targeted attack. There's not like a killer with knives running around. Like, what? You can't have two college towns. I mean, just, you guys, if Bryan's your guy, Moscow lied to the public very, very poorly. And now think about their investigation. They had no idea who this was, right? The way that they were saying the PCA. And now take away Dylan's statements. Said Dylan didn't see that. Okay. And now throw in the fact that the FBI said that it was two different vehicles, the Elantra. The Elantra seen at King is an older model, 2011, 2013. That's not the same year as Bryan. So good luck with that. Now, is it, hey, well, it's an Elantra, but I mean, I can't imagine that these cameras are that shitty if it was, in fact, that close. And we're just talking about passing by. We're not talking about that he pulled in the driveway, got out of the car, and you see him go inside. So what I would, if you tell me that there's blood in that car of any of the victims, 100% hook, line, sinker. Because now I want you to explain how the hell the victim's blood is in your car. Okay, so I went back there in the morning and I must have stepped on something when I was there. You get what I'm saying? Like, that would be like a hard, for him to, for this to be explained as to why he could have been driving by. Where is all of this overwhelming evidence? He went on dates. He was strange. He graded papers so hard. Then he graded papers easy. What else?
He was a fat kid, got made fun of, then he got skinny, now he's a vegan. Okay. He got fired from WSU. Oh, he did? Where? You think that if he got fired from WSU that he would have been told that, and that, like, why were his keys, like, but they were at his keys to his office was at the apartment. Do you guys know they didn't even try to pick up, like, anything from that office? Like, what about, like, the door handle, or like to see if there'd be fingerprints, or there's no, I mean, how wiped down was that office that you couldn't try to grab, like, any type of DNA of Bryan's in the office? Or like that the so the victims, like, hair couldn't have never got on there. Like, I mean, my hair shows up days, weeks later, even after it goes through the wash machine. I mean, they didn't even attempt to take anything out of that office. Like, was it so, like, clean that it was? I mean, you don't know what you could have possibly found in there. There was no hairs in there. I mean, because that's one of the places that he would have went, unless he didn't use his office, but he would have been in that office then, at least that, like, at home or in his car, he's cleaning it like a crazy person, or in his office, he can't be just, like, bleaching his office. You know what I mean? These people be like, what is this guy doing? So did he not go in the office, like, at all? How do we know that he got fired? We don't know. This is all, they don't know jack shit. All I know is Emma and Dee just walked out of jail. Emma, all charges dropped. Emma. And yes, Dee and Emma released. Emma, all charges dropped. Dee, own recognizance, and I believe that King County is recharging him with all the charges. Yes. So Emma Bailey. All charges dropped. Okay. D. Bailed out. Also, I do not believe that D was the person who was bringing in the drugs into Moscow. I have a pretty solid lead on something else, and when I feel comfortable bringing that to light, I will. So Caden OD'd on his own. I think everybody always ODs on their own. But yeah, something you can get charged for is
supplying somebody something that has lace stuff. Dee's, the stuff that was in Dee's car and the stuff that was around them when they were, when they came to get arrested, it was bee pollen. It was not, when they talked about that white powdery stuff, it tested positive for bee pollen. So this rumor of him or one of them having powder that was coke and laced with fentanyl is not true. There was the white powder and it tested positive for bee pollen, and that's what D would put. You can take it and it's a form of a cleanser. You can also use it as a weight loss. You can use it to work out. So health nuts. Well, vegetarian. They have a very strict vegetarian diet. D and Emma. He swears by bee pollen. And let's see what else. Dee wrote a bunch of letters about these social injustices while in jail. They were having they were like in a lockdown because of segregation a couple different times. They would not honor Dee or Emma's vegetarian diets. They got kosher food. What else did we learn? Dee and Emma got dinner with Caden the night before he passed. Emma really wasn't that good of friends with him, as they just pretty much met and wanted to hang out. They wanted to help Caden. They were making plans to get healthy and get on track, but Caden was depressed, according to Dee and Emma. Caden was trying to reach his ex-girlfriend the previous night. But what's with all these criminals being vegetarians? Some of these comments just, let's see. What else we got here? So Emma and Dee went to the gym when Caden was overdosing. So they went to the gym, and then when they were getting back from the gym, that's when they saw Caden ODing, and that's when they did the CPR. It was right after they had gotten back from the gym. Dee does a lot of his events in the Tacoma area at that one spot. So again, Emma does know Xana, but they hadn't talked recently. So again, just still putting this complete timeline together of events leading up to. But Dee and Emma were at the gym, and they were at a hotel. And so when they came back from their hotel, being at the hotel gym, is when they saw Caden ODing, gave him CPR, and then rushed him to the hospital. So you can believe him, you don't have to believe him. I'm just repeating straight from the horse's mouth. These are communications. So again, yeah, they were at the gym working out. I'm telling you, something's up with Moscow and Pullman Man. Everybody's on this get buff, get jacked kick. Next thing you know, we're gonna see Emma Bailey looking like Kendra, getting jacked. So it's really sad. Yeah, they allegedly at a party. Well, I think that this party is more like a, when you're hanging out all weekend because you got like a hotel or something, and you're hanging out or whatever and stuff like that, and you're just doing your drugs all weekend. You're blowing lines here and there throughout the day. Something like that. So what I'm saying, be pollen for months later doesn't mean they didn't have the drugs in January. We're talking about what was on them when the police arrived, and that they put in a report that there was white powder stuff. Well, that white powder stuff at the friend's house where Dee and Emma were arrested was bee pollen. Was Caden the third wheel at the hotel? No, there's a bunch of people, yes. So, what happened? Oh my God, at Drunk Turkey Show, I accidentally hid you. I was at the dollar store too, sorry. Oh, Mike Drunk, you hid Drunk Turkey? Did you bring him back? Oh, that's funny. I hope it's all good. Bee pollen is not a drug. It's not a drug at all. The gym story sounds fabricated, just my honest opinion. Absolutely. Well, I give people credit. Emma and Dee at least put Caden in a vehicle, did CPR, and took him to the hospital. So he was alive. They saved his life, right? And then they left. You know what I mean? They left. And then Caden at some point got released from the hospital. Again, this was a lot earlier. So everyone thinks that you can only OD at night or late, like in the middle of the night or something like that. You can OD at 10 o'clock in the morning. You want to wake up and do a line of blow, and it's laced with fentanyl, and you didn't know it. Boom. So coming back from the gym at 10, 11 in the morning, and you got people that are just like waking up trying to like get her going. So a guy that worked for me was on vacation in Boston. And he took his new girlfriend with him, and she didn't know that he had a substance abuse problem back in the day. And he scored some coke off of somebody out there in Boston, and he was in the bathroom because he was keeping it from her that he was doing, lines. And when they had come back from going out one of the nights, he goes in the bathroom. He locked the door behind him. When he went to the bathroom, he did a line and then went to the bathroom and then OD'd and died. And she didn't realize, like, she just thought he was taking, you know what, and then tried to get into the, to the bathroom. She was like calling his name and he didn't answer. And she had to call, like, security and the police and stuff like that. But she thought that he was just like, doing number two. And so she got on her phone, was talking on the phone with her, a couple of her girlfriends and blah, blah, blah. And boom. Carfentanil. Yep. So sad. I had talked to him that morning too. I had to make sure he had his shift covered for. We were just shooting the shit about golf and stuff like that. So, but sad. Drugs are no joke. You have no idea what's in them. Sad. So yeah, I'm gonna get some more information on the whole Emma and Dee. I mean, I am concerned. I hope that Emma has a place to go. I know that with all this, when they got arrested and everything, and they were in jail, and then everything started blowing up about like them being involved with the Idaho 4 case, and people started attacking Emma's family. And so whoever out there was doing that, shame on you. And that's just wild to me. But yeah. So you get out and you go where and everybody's looking at you. So hopefully that they're safe and they have, no matter what they may or may have not done, everybody is innocent until proven guilty. And, Emma is 22 years old. So, again, leave people alone. Pray for people. And I do believe that people can change if they want to change. And I do believe in second chances. You fuck up, though, on that second chance, you made your bed, you lay in it. But mainstream media needs to chill the fuck out, period. And I don't know, them having these people on and them saying like their source and this bullshit and that bullshit. They need to stop. They look like fools. And so you know how you get them to stop, you guys? Stop watching the shit. Stop watching the stuff. I don't watch it. Stop watching the crap. But that's how you get people to change. Mainstream media just mentioned for the past, I don't even know how many days straight, that Bryan Kohberger basically is involved with the disappearance and death of Dana Smithers. Well, the police had to finally come out today, and they just told the world that there is no evidence connecting Bryan Kohberger to the disappearance and the death of Dana Smithers. So they had to do a press release because of everything that's going on. The judge just reamed, the AP, the Associated Press, and said, you need to tone it down. Like, Mr. Kohberger needs to get a fair trial. And what you are doing is jeopardizing that. Very, very much so. And what do? That was Monday.
Monday. Today's Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they went ham on this Dana Smithers and Bryan Kohberger and grand jury in Pennsylvania. Like and then you got retired law enforcement people that are egging this shit on. And mainstream media is putting them on their channels. And that's just, I mean, they want to talk about, like, you want to talk about that's them's the facts right there. And over here, YouTubers are getting bad raps for quote unquote a clickbait title. Okay. Like, that's a big comparison there. So, yeah, with their sources. Exactly. It used to have two people had to confirm the same story in order for you to do what you would call responsible investigative journalism sources, period. You needed two sources. Now you need Ronald McDonald House and you're fine. I would agree there. Shannon, news is not MSM anymore. I stopped listening after Watts. They turned into their competition. YouTube. Yep. I was disappointed in Dateline too, but I always believe, let Dateline realize that they messed up, and I think that Dateline will make the changes to never have that let that happen again. That show was nothing but complete hearsay, no evidence. The evidence is right up here, right there in a nutshell. In a nutshell, this is what got Bryan arrested right there. Now I'm just curious, what got him indicted? You had to add to it. So would they add to it? Yeah, that's what actually Bella was saying. Like, who's going to be held accountable? Who's going to be thrown? Who's going to be, cited? Hold somebody in contempt. I want to know where it started from about this whole, that Bryan Kohberger's parents were talking to the grand jury and turned over evidence that you got these outlets writing that Mrs. Kohberger turned over evidence to the grand jury. What? No. Give me a break, you guys. I just can't. Oh, planting with Tracy. There she is. No, I'm the one doing the suing, honey. What's up, planning? Planning with Tracy. Whoever wastes their time with people that they don't like, that's when you know that you a fucking loser. How easy would it be for E&D to clean up the scene while Caden is in the hospital? That's not where even they were arrested. Clean up what scene? The cops didn't even go there to that scene. There was no scene. I know. I have so many of those. All day she's been at it. I know. Girl, go drink some water. Hug a tree. Yeah. Well, it should all be interesting, but hug a tree. Oh, you're hilarious. They need to do something. Don't let the bark get you in the ass. Okay. Grand jury was watching News Nation. Yeah, I'm just, you guys, this is just, how does this stay in? You think that this is going to be moved out of
Moscow, Idaho. Do you think it's going to be moved? Do you think that he can get a fair trial? Chat is flying. I know. And guess what? I can't get to it. I can't control it. It's out of control. YouTube is all messed up. All the back end streams and stuff, it's all messed up. It's all wild. So, yeah, but I just, when they want to talk about this overwhelming evidence, no, it's overwhelming speculation. And trust me, is there circumstantial stuff? Sure, yes. Yes, there is. Okay. But there is not that you have provided to the public. There's zero. I'm sorry, but as far as I'm concerned about that touch DNA, mm-mm. Give me some blood in that car. Give me the victim's blood on anything. Give me some, give me something. You know, like in the Murdaugh murders, you could not get past that he was right there, you know, at the crime scene where his family was gunned down and shot at the dog kennels. And it was because of the Snapchat, you know, proved that. But you have a car driving past a residence between 3:29 and whatever time, then you better, you know, then you're also banking on, okay, that the crimes had to happen between that time. The ME report has to back that up. You know what I mean? But you don't have that nut right now. And don't you think if they would have that nut, we wouldn't be, like, you wouldn't be wasting all your taxpayers' dollars and doing all this and putting the families through this. You wouldn't screw around, and you would, that's what Anne asked for from the beginning. If you have like a bunch of shit, you know, put it out there so we can, like, you know, work on, like, okay, I'm going to talk to my client about a plea deal because of you have X, Y, and Z. But that's just not what's happening. No, I haven't been able to talk to her yet. The girl that put the cameras up, or that Bryan put the cameras up for. No. There you go, Kate. There you go. Yep. Now he's really questioning everything. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. It was like this, it was like he had 3 different investigations going on. But people didn't know that. They were even like, that's just how I look at this. It looks like it's like going left, and it's also going right, and then it's going straight. And I think that you have this, like, a group of people that were part of the investigation team, like, they're going left, and this other group's going right, and this other group's going straight. And that makes sense to, like, track down, you know, every different part of the case. But it was like they had to make something fit versus just letting it all play out, letting all the evidence take it to wherever it's going to go. And I can tell you this, I'd be one pissed bitch if I lived next door to Bryan Kohberger and you're telling the world that we're all safe. Meanwhile, I'm sleeping in step-to apartments next to that you know, next to him. It doesn't make any sense. Olivia was right. Kaylee's sister was dead on right. She told people to get out of there. You are not safe. Okay? You need to leave. She was right. I mean, logic tells you that. Somebody walked into somebody's home and slaughtered 4 human beings in a matter of minutes, according to police. And then it was just one person, right? And they just left 2 people there. She's like, you need to leave. I would agree there. Very sharp family. Very fair family. I like the way that the family carries themselves. They seem 100% genuine to the core. Like I said, just they're going to do their due diligence. I believe they will. All right. Well, you guys have a good rest of your evening. Again, YouTube has been really acting funky lately. So they must be getting overboard. They must be getting overheated. So again, make sure you guys be kind to one another and make yourself known on the way out. Thumbs up or thumbs down. The feature. I'm sure you have an opinion. Make it known.
Welcome to Truth and Transparency. This is a developing story out of Moscow, Idaho. Was Bryan Kohberger a police intern at the time that he was arrested? Tuesday, April 12th. This is an email exchange between Chief of Police, Pullman Police Department, Gary Jenkins, and allegedly Bryan Kohberger. Moscow, Idaho. 4 students brutally murdered. Was Bryan Kohberger an intern with WSU Police Department, Pullman Police? Again, Tuesday,